to deuce and a halfs, which is trucks, 2.5-ton trucks. And we drove from Creon to Playcool, which was be about like driving from here to Indianapolis on the back of a deuce and a half. And dusty roads and not a pleasant trip either, but at least I didn't get seasick. So we went to Playcool. Now Playcool is what they call the Central Highlands. It's not down in the jungle. Actually, there are some pictures. This is me as a pilot. Not really. These pictures are of our base camp. So you can see we're not in a jungle area. That was the base camp. Actually, when we got there the first night, there was no barracks, nothing to sleep in, so we slept on the ground. Woke up the next morning, we had our sleeping bag, woke up the next morning with ants all over us. But the whole time I was over there, I slept in a tent, like a 30-man tent, large, good-looking tent. They started building permanent barracks, but I was far enough. I was in the last row, the last tent, so I stayed in the tent the whole time I was there. Dirt floor, and
disconnecting.
Anyway, I got some things here if you'd like to see. But we got there, and our first duty was filling sandbags. And there's probably a picture there. And we had some Vietnamese helping us. The only problem with having Vietnamese help us is we really didn't know who they were. We found out later, as time went on, that some of the ones that were working on our base camp during the day, they were VC at night. And when a couple were killed and we identified them, found out who they were, then we realized, well, this was a guy that was working as a barber, and this guy was working in our mess hall, serving us food. And so your enemy was right there with you, which was not a good situation, but it was, you didn't really know who the enemy was. Now, the North Vietnamese regulars, obviously you could tell them because they were military guys, but we didn't face many of them. All we faced was the VC, the Viet Cong, which they looked like ordinary people. So you didn't know who was for you and who was against you. And that creates some situations. I never got anything. The good thing about this whole thing, and maybe we should show them I brought a Vietnam era M16. It's all been checked out for the officer, so it's fine. Not loaded. But this is a Vietnam era M16. Now, it's all original with the exception of the lower receiver, which is this darker part. That's a modern, and the barrel. I mean the sight, the suppressor on the end. Everything else is original. And the reason you have to buy this is because they destroyed the original ones because those could be fully automatic. You have a switch here, it's on safe now, you flip it to fire. You flip it back there, it was fully automatic. On fire, it was semi-automatic, faster you can pull the trigger. But you put it on automatic and it's like that. And about that quick you can empty a clip of 20 rounds. Anyway, they destroyed all of those, and I don't know why they didn't leave the barrel, but anyway, I had to get a new barrel. So I'll leave that lay up here if you want to look at it later. You can, but I had a chance to get the parts, and then had to put it together. That's quite a challenge, but anyway, you can find anything on YouTube. So I went on YouTube, and they told me how to put it together. So I mean, I had one, but I never had it that far apart. It was like building one, from scratch. But I'll pass a few of these things around. This was our mess kit. Now by mess, I mean that means your food. But usually it was a mess. But I guess it had the right name. But this is what you ate out of every day. And utensils are in there.
Now, is that like when you were out on the field, you would eat out of that, or you
No.
had plates and, or that's what you
Well,
used?
I shouldn't say, when we first got there, we actually were eating, sea rations. Now they call them, MREs, meals ready to eat, but at that time they were sea rations. So, our company, we were separate from the rest of our battalion, the maintenance battalion, which took care of the maintenance on everything, trucks, tanks, you know, armored vehicles, anything. But we were separate because we were down at the airfield, so we were always the last ones in our battalion to get anything, and including hot meals. So, we'd been there, probably 6 weeks, and we're still eating sea rations. Now, they did have it so they could put the sea rations in hot water, so they were at least warm. So we had warm sea rations instead of cold, but,
Tell them about, didn't somebody come down and they got upset about
yes,
that? Yeah.
well, I was gonna get to that, because,
Sorry.
some of our guys were out on guard duty one night, which that was about every, fifth or sixth night you had to serve guard duty. There's, in the book, there are some pictures of me out in front of a bunker, doing guard duty with an M14. Now, when we went to Vietnam, we had the M14, which, if you're familiar, the M14, if you guys play any of these military games, you know what all these weapons are, and more than I do. But, the M14 is much bigger, much heavier, and it proved to be a little bit too much. It's much more accurate. I'd much rather shoot an M14, and in that book that's going around back near the back is the qualifying. I qualified as an expert on the M14. We never got a chance to qualify on it with the M16 because they just sent us out, here's your new weapon, go out, fire a couple clips. They took us out to a ravine and we shot off a couple clips, and that was it.
You're qualified.
Yeah, that's what they said, you're qualified on the M16. Well, you know, it was better than nothing, but it wasn't the weapon that the M14 was. The M14, in fact, on the qualified, that's another little interesting story. When we qualified with the M14, all the way through basic training, I was the top one. And you can look at the list there, and I don't know how many, I never saw how many names there are. Let me get that out and I'll show you. Yeah, that's it right there. Okay. Now, this little section at the top is the ones who qualified as expert. My name is like 1, 2, 3, 6, the sixth one down. That sounds okay, but the sad part of it was, all through basic training, I was on top. And they were gonna give a trophy for whoever was qualified on top. Well, I'm getting that trophy. Well, you know, sometimes you have to be humbled. And so I was doing great, and there was a guy named Dane Rumfeld. He was from Milford. We went in the same day, left Warsaw together, and because his name was R.U. and mine was S.E., we were always together. And that guy got me into more trouble. I did more push-ups because of him. I was in good shape though because of him, I guess, but he'd get me to laughing in a formation, and that's the last thing you wanted to do. I couldn't help it. He was just funny. And but anyway, so he always scored for me and I scored for him, you know, when we were shooting, and he knew that I didn't miss. Well, lo and behold, we had to fire several. It was like we fire some in the prone position, lying down, some kneeling, standing, and then you had to jump into a foxhole and shoot from there. Well, when I jumped into the foxhole, apparently I bumped my sights. I didn't know it. And I started shooting and I missed. In fact, Dane said, "You missed." I said, "I know. I couldn't have missed." You know. And I fired a couple more times and I was missing. I said, "Well, see which way I'm missing." Apparently I bumped my sights. And so it took me about a dozen or maybe 15 shots to get zeroed back in, and then I was okay again, but it took me way out of first place. As you can see on here, I think I ended up with a 53, the top guy had a 66, and I don't think that was perfect. It was probably about 70 shots, and I knew I'll pass that road. But here's how many there were. These are two-sided. So that's how many there were, and I guess finishing sixth was not bad, but it wasn't where I wanted to be. But anyway, it's another story. Here's the canteen we had. they were plastic. Here was our cup. This is what we drink our coffee out of each morning. This handle flips around, and then a little lock here, locks in place.
You started telling about your guard duty story, guys.
Yeah. About every sixth day you had to work on guard duty, and then you got off till noon the next day, because you were not up all night. We took shifts. You either worked, a couple hour shifts and traded off. There'd be 3 guys in a bunker, and we had guys out there, and this was about 6 weeks after we gotten there, and we, like I say, we were still eating sea rations. The rest of the battalion, they were getting hot meals. And the commanding general of our post, and I don't remember what his name was, but anyway, he was just kind of going around checking the perimeter and checking out some of these bunkers, and he walked into this bunker and he saw our guys eating sea rations, and he said, "What unit are you guys with?" And they told him, Company E, 704th, and you know what, the next day we had hot meals. So it pays to have the right guy come around, because we couldn't get him otherwise. This is what you wore. I don't have a flak jacket, but you wore a flak jacket, and then this is your belt that everything fastened on, including the canteen you see there. Everything fastened onto this belt. This goes over your shoulders like this, and these were where you stored your magazines for the M16. They went in this. You can see that if you want to look at that later. Here's the helmet like we wore. This is not the actual one I wore, but I was able to buy one just like it. And you can pass that around. See, it has a helmet liner inside of it, and then they call the steel pot is the steel part that goes over it. Now I think they use Kevlar. I don't think they even use steel, but it was heavy. You got all the stuff on, your flak jacket on, and you know what about wearing a protective vest, and it's hot and it's heavy, and pretty soon you're loaded down. And anyway, now I got a hand grenade here. Don't pull the pin. No, it's not alive. It's not loaded. Okay, but it is. This is an actual hand grenade. This is the kind we use in Vietnam. They call it a pineapple because of the looks of it. This was one of the scariest things that I did during basic, because you stop to think that thing is explosive, and what they put inside of it is a coil of wire that has little marks in it, so that when it explodes, it breaks into pieces. So, and plus you've got the shrapnel from the casing itself flying out. So they're pretty dangerous, and to qualify for hand grenades, you had to go out and actually throw the hand grenade. They had a barrel sitting out there, and the way you throw a hand grenade, you don't throw it like this. You could hurt your arm because it's heavy enough. You throw it like this, and that way it doesn't hurt your arm. And so when you pull that pin, you still got to hold the handle. But if you let go of that handle, you have about 5 seconds until that thing's going to explode. So it is a little nerve-wracking, to say the least, when you realize you got that kind of power in your hand, and if you mess up,
You only won't have a hand.
yeah, a lot more than that. Now this, maybe you've heard of a 50 caliber machine gun. That's a 50 caliber bullet. They use them in some of the sniper rifles now. They'll use the 50 calibers. They can shoot somebody a mile away. And that's the kind of shell that is, 50 caliber. It's not loaded either, so you have to be afraid of it. Anyway, that's some of the show and tell. I won't pass this thing around, but just to let you know that you have all that on. Plus, then you have a backpack that weighs about 40 pounds, besides everything else. So, by the time you get all that on,
It's about another 100, almost 100 pounds,
yeah,
maybe?
you're weighted down pretty good. And it's in the heat of Vietnam, it was pretty rugged. Now the guys who were in the infantry didn't always carry their backpacks, because in the jungle you just didn't, you couldn't maneuver quickly enough with that. But if they were going to be out for a while, they would have them with them. And they just may have established a camp somewhere and go out from there on what they call search and destroy. And
What else do you want to picture of?
well, I was thinking about Sergeant Grandstaff.